Welcome to week 12 of our weekly Bible devotions. This week, we're going to have continuation of the study of the poetry books. We started last week with the book of Job and Psalms. Now we're going to continue with the book of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Songs of Solomon, or the Song of Songs. Now these 5 books, they are categorized as the wisdom books. 5 books of poetry or 5 books of wisdom. That's the key word for the past 2 weeks, which will be highlighted even more this week. Wisdom. Is wisdom important? Well, if you will ask me, I'm a teacher, of course, I believe wisdom is important. I've been watching a series recently. In this series, there's a scene there. The young boy invited the younger to study with him because he's being homeschooled. And the young girl says, who wants to study? Why would you even study? You're already a billionaire. You're rich. Why do you even need education? He said, what kind of attitude is that? It was shown there that there should be this kind of high regard for education, for attainment of wisdom, which goes beyond the accumulation of wealth or riches in this world. The young girl saw education, schooling, as just a means to acquire wealth, a means to prosper in life. But for the boy who's already rich, who inherited the wealth of his parents, he still values education, not as a means for acquiring wealth, because he has that already. He sees education as a means of acquiring knowledge, as a means of acquiring wisdom, because wisdom is important. And that's very much shown here in the book of Proverbs. The Proverbs really is sayings. So the book of Proverbs is a book of sayings. It's a collection of sayings. Now, the collection of sayings happens really from chapter 10 to chapter 31. But from chapters 1 to 9, there's a sort of introduction, even some sort of personification of wisdom. Proverbs chapter 1, verses 1 to 7. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. By the way, much of the Proverbs are attributed to Solomon. But Solomon is not the only author of the sayings here. You will see that if you read the book of Proverbs. Much of it attributed to him. To know wisdom and instruction, verse 2. To understand words of insight. To receive instruction in wise dealing, in righteousness, justice, and equity. To give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance. To understand a proverb and a saying, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Now, I would like to give you the principle that we can get directly from that. Our principle for today is this. Real wisdom is to fear and relate with the Lord. People think once they're educated, they will be wise already. You see people who graduated in these universities, prestigious schools, they have several degrees, master's, doctorate, and yet, when they go out to the world, people do not see them as wise. They're educated, they're filled with knowledge apparently, but they don't seem to be wise people. So knowledge is not just wisdom. And this is the truth about wisdom. From verse 7 of chapter 1 of Proverbs 1. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. But this knowledge here is not just worldly knowledge, not just facts, information. This is wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. The truth about faith is that it is a relationship with God. So, to fear the Lord, here, it's a kind of relationship. It means you revere God, you respect God. This kind of respect, high respect to God, only comes from enjoying a faithful and intimate relationship with Him. So this kind of relationship with God is what gives you real wisdom. Why? Because God created everything. God is the source of wisdom. My prayer is that you will have the urge, you will have this desire to value wisdom, the acquisition of wisdom in your life. It's easy to think that maybe if you have the money already, then maybe you don't need wisdom anymore. Maybe you don't need knowledge. Maybe you don't need schooling. But it's important to acquire wisdom. I will read to you one of my favorite proverbs. It comes from Proverbs chapter 4, and it's verse 7. It's this: the beginning of wisdom is this. Listen to this. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, and whatever you get insight. In other translation, like, wisdom is supreme. No matter what happens, make it a point. You get wisdom. Keep that in mind.